For a long time, there have been rumors that Alcatraz Island is a hive of paranormal activity. This is due to the island's dark history and its pensive atmosphere. It is stated that the restless ghosts of people who endured behind the cold and unforgiving walls of the notorious federal prison that formerly stood on this little isolated rock in San Francisco Bay are still here. However, there are many who believe that the hauntings originate from a source that is even more ominous than that, namely the existence of a portal to the underworld itself. Alcatraz has a long and eventful history, dating back to the time when the indigenous peoples of the area referred to it as the Isle of the Pelicans. A military stronghold, a lighthouse, and a military prison were all functions that it performed during the 1800s. Alcatraz served as both a military stronghold and a military jail during this period. Soldiers endured severe punishments there, including imprisonment in cramped cells and torture. The agony these inmates endured is believed to have left a lasting impression on the world. There were other sad incidents that occurred on the island, such as deaths, accidents, and mental breakdowns, which may have contributed to hauntings. These tragedies affected the lighthouse keepers and their families, who lived on the island in isolation. However, the conversion into a federal penitentiary in 1934 marked the beginning of its actual notoriety. Some of the most renowned criminals of the time, including Al Capone, Robert Franklin Stroud, also known as the Birdman of Alcatraz, and George Machine Gun Kelly, resided there. Alcatraz, known for its severe conditions, stringent restrictions, and ruthless treatment of inmates, left the prison haunted by the spirits of those imprisoned there and the echoes of the misery they endured. During this time, Alcatraz was the nation's first supermax jail, housing the most vicious convicts. It was also the most horrific and darkest period in the prison's history. The harsh conditions that were customary at the Hole included isolation cells, a lack of comforts, and penalties such as torture, which resulted in the inmates' misery and deaths. The Battle of Alcatraz, which took place in 1946, was a violent revolt that resulted in deaths and injuries, leaving behind potential negative energy. On top of the 14 verified homicides committed by inmates, there were also suicides and fatalities caused by inadequate conditions, which resulted in an enormous amount of human misery. Following the jail's closure in 1963, park rangers and visitors alike continued to record inexplicable happenings in the area. Over several decades, numerous reports have documented the wails of tortured captives, the footsteps of ghosts, the slamming of cell doors, and the appearance of apparitions in the corridors and cells. It would appear that the famed isolation cells, the underground recreation yard, and the remnants of the military buildings are the areas that are experiencing the most activity. The reports of ghostly faces appearing at cell windows, the sensation of an unseen presence, and icy spots suddenly surrounding visitors are some of the most disturbing accounts described by people who have experienced the phenomenon. Several visitors and rangers have reported hearing agonizing cries, wails, and screams that seem to emanate from empty jail cells or tunnels. People claim that the chilly hallways resonate with the souls of prisoners who endured cruel treatment and conditions, producing bone-chilling noises. People have reported seeing dark figures peering out of windows, hearing footsteps, and encountering mysteriously moved or rearranged artifacts at the ruins of the ancient lighthouse and military quarters. Some individuals have reported seeing the full-bodied apparition of a guy hanging from a raft in the butcher shop that was formerly located in the military prison. Witnesses have reported experiencing feelings of fear and sickness while entering the area surrounding the butcher shop. According to reports, the specter of renowned mobster Al Capone has been spotted playing his banjo in the cell block where he used to be held behind bars. Guards reported hearing faint banjo songs emanating from his empty cell years after he had left the facility. Perhaps the most memorable sightings of the Alcatraz haunting are pale, terrified faces suddenly appearing in cell windows and disappearing just as swiftly. The suffering inmates seem to be calling for help from beyond the grave. A portal is a doorway or dimensional gap that serves as a transitory passage between our physical world and other planes of existence, or realms of reality. People use the term portal in the context of the paranormal and metaphysical. Scholars claim that portals are regions or sites that have significantly damaged spatial, temporal, and energetic boundaries. These boundaries allow for entities, energies, and even physical matter to cross different dimensions. The concept of portals originates from ancient mythologies, indigenous folklore, and certain spiritual and occult belief systems. These belief systems explain that a variety of entities and energies inhabit numerous layered dimensions and worlds within our cosmos. We might think of portals as doorways or apertures that bridge the gap between these two distinct realities. The indigenous peoples of the area believed that Alcatraz was home to bad spirits and darkness, potentially drawing supernatural forces to the island over several centuries. Despite a number of different tribes undertaking rites and ceremonies to bless and eliminate negative energy, the terrain itself is believed to amplify psychic disturbances. Many believe that a dark portal or vortex, believed to be a passageway between our world and the underworld, accounts for these hauntings. There are Native American traditions that describe the island as a site where evil spirits reside, which lends credence to the notion that it functions as a doorway between dimensions. There is a possibility that such a gateway exists on the island, because professionals in the field of paranormal research have found high levels of electromagnetic energy and vortex occurrences at certain locations on the island. We still need to determine whether these hauntings are merely the psychological remnants of past human suffering, or if a deeper supernatural force powers them. Alcatraz's dreadful past, combined with its secluded, fortress-like setting, makes it an ideal breeding ground for paranormal events. A multitude of confirmed sightings and experiences bear witness to the fact that the island is a hub of spiritual energy. The souls of those imprisoned on the island, or a portal to realms beyond our own reality, could be the origin of this energy. It is highly conceivable that the spectral presence of Alcatraz will continue to enthrall and terrify us for many decades, thanks to the gloomy cloak of tragedy and mystery that it provides.